Welcome to Higher Education Marketing Institute. Today, we're tackling a question that's reshaping every enrollment and marketing plan. What happens when trust, AI, and personalization stop being edge tactics and become the operating system for higher ed?
We've reached that point. Prospective students and their families are making decisions with their thumbs and their prompts, not just campus tour. If your brand and your content aren't discoverable, credible, and complete at the exact moment of intent, you're not even in the conversation.
Let's get specific. The days of campus life first branding are numbered. The new shortlist is built on clarity, relevance, and flexibility that travels across the entire digital journey. The Higher Education Marketing Institute's latest article puts it plainly. If AI can't cite you, your program may never enter consideration.
That's not just a catchy line. According to UPSI and Search Influence Research, half of prospective students now use AI tools weekly. 79% are reading Google's AI overviews before a student even lands on your site. AI has probably answered their questions about cost, format, and outcomes, often with information scraped from your own program pages.
So, the game is no longer just about ranking on page 1 of Google. It's about being the source that AI can confidently quote. If you're not there, you're invisible. There's no second page of AI results.
And the friction isn't just technical. There's a real operational challenge. Schools are losing qualified prospects not because their marketing is weak or their admissions team is asleep, but because their handoff process is broken. Inquiries fall through the cracks between marketing and admissions, and by the time someone follows up, the student has already connected with another institution. HEM's deep dive on admissions handoff lays this out in painful detail.
Let's back up to the brand level. Traditional messaging built around campus life is missing the mark for online learners and adult students. The new imperative is to refresh your value proposition so it's flexible and meaningful across every digital touchpoint, not just on campus.
That means dropping the nostalgia. Students aren't choosing based on the quad or the dining hall anymore. They want relevance and clarity. What's the value? What's the outcome? How does this fit their life? Schools that lead with outcomes, flexibility, and digital experience are outperforming those still pushing prestige or tradition.
And it's not just about what you say, but how you structure it. Carnegie's work on information architecture makes this clear. If a human can't navigate your site, an AI won't advocate for it. Student-centered labels, logical hierarchy, and up-to-date content aren't just usability wins. They're AI visibility wins.
Let's talk about intent-driven content. The new model is to map your content to real student questions, blend facts and context, and layer in credibility signals, citations, expert voices, case studies. That's what builds trust and reduces friction in the evaluation process. And it's what gets you quoted in AI answers.
That's a shift from the old SAW playbook. It's less about churning out more content and more about building research-grade, interlinked assets that answer complex queries end-to-end. The HEMI article calls this out. Publishing more with AI can actually hurt you. Fewer, deeper, research-grade pages may outperform a high-volume content factory.
And don't forget about trust signals. The RGI guide on EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, is a must-read. Real bios, visible accreditation, transparent outcomes, and up-to-date policies aren't just window dressing. They're the currency of trust for both humans and machines. When a parent or a first-gen student is deciding whether to apply, these are the details that tip them toward action.
Let's get practical. If you're an enrollment or marketing leader, here's the new checklist. First, audit your AI presence. Run prospect-style queries in Google, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and YouTube. See how your institution appears, or doesn't. Identify the gaps and prioritize fixes.
Then, optimize your program pages. Keep outcomes, costs, deadlines, and credentials current. Use clear, semantically rich headings, structured data, and citable language. If your content is buried or vague, AI will skip you in favor of whoever spells it out plainly.
And don't neglect page 1 SAW. Organic rankings still matter because strong rankings correlate with AI overview inclusion. But the bar is higher. You need to be both human readable and machine readable.
On the personalization front, the bar is rising fast. According to Modern Campus, only 15% of prospective students say the information colleges send is genuinely relevant to them. The rest tune out generic messaging. Schools using smart segmentation and behavioral targeting have seen click-through rates jump from under 1% to over 30% on personalized homepage blocks. That's not a rounding error. That's a new baseline.
And Gen Alpha is going to push this even further. Terminalpha points out that these students don't browse, they query. They expect instant, accurate answers, not a maze of course listings. If your site doesn't surface clear, AI-readable answers about outcomes, costs, and support, you're not even on their radar.
Let's not pretend this is a future problem. Gen Z already expects mobile-first, authentic, conversational experiences. Gen Alpha just takes it for granted. If you're still serving the same homepage to a 12th grader, an admitted student, and a returning alumni donor, you're leaving value on the table at every stage of the life cycle.
And the operational side matters just as much. Schools lose prospects when the marketing to admissions handoff isn't tight. HEM's work on this is blunt. A qualified inquiry comes in, then disappears into a spreadsheet or an inbox. By the time someone follows up, the student has moved on. The fix isn't just communication, it's process design. Every inquiry needs a clear owner, a response timeline, and a next step, tracked in the CRM.
And leadership needs visibility across the funnel. If you can't connect organic search to CRM revenue, your SEO budget is guesswork. The institutions winning right now are the ones tracking pre-site influence, on-site intent, and the conversion steps that actually move inquiries to deposits. Not just clicks, not just form fills, real pipeline.
Let's talk about the controversial ideas from the HEMI roundup. First, campus life first branding is now a liability. If you're not leading with outcomes, flexibility, and digital experience, you risk irrelevance. 2. If AI can't cite you, you do not exist. Optimizing for AI understanding now outweighs clever design flourishes and internal jargon.
Third, radical transparency on cost and outcomes will outperform prestige messaging, even for selective institutions. Students and families are fact-checking everything. Fourth, paid media cannot buy trust at scale. More budgets should go to organic community building and student voices. The real trust signals now come from authentic student perspectives, not slick campaigns.
That's a tough pill for some, but the data backs it up. According to Advanced Education, students aren't looking for more information, they're looking for confidence. They want to see clear career outcomes, success stories, and employer endorsements. If your site makes it hard to piece together the value of a program, uncertainty grows and you lose the prospect.
And the technical details matter. UPSI's breakdown of AI search readiness is eye-opening. Your program page is now doing double duty, selling to students and feeding data to AI. If the page is unclear, under-optimized, or technically inaccessible, AI may surface a competitor or leave you out entirely. There's no second chance.
So, what do you actually do about it? Start with one high-priority program page. Make sure the facts, cost, duration, modality, outcomes, prerequisites, are structured, current, and easy to extract. Use schema, clean headings, and plain language. Then, test it by running common queries in AI tools. See what comes back.
And don't stop at content. Audit your operations. Define the marketing to admissions handoff. Track interactions in the CRM. And monitor which campaigns and channels are actually producing enrolled students. Tighten the loop so no inquiry gets lost.
On the community side, invest in organic social. Education Dynamics makes the point that consistent, intentional social content builds community and compounds trust in the background. AI can assist, but it won't replace the power of real students sharing real experiences. That's how you build credibility that lasts.
And don't forget about accessibility and inclusivity. The best content in the world won't help if your site fails on contrast ratios, mobile usability, or clear navigation. Accessibility isn't a compliance box. It's a trust signal for both humans and algorithms.
Let's recap the takeaways for enrollment and marketing leaders. Recenter your brand around clarity, relevance, and flexibility that travels across digital-first journeys. Build intent-driven, interlinked content with facts, context, and credibility signals. Audit your AI visibility and SEO. Prioritizing structured, citable content. Make value unmistakable with transparent costs, outcomes, and career connections. Design mobile first. Personalized experiences with conversational interfaces and data-driven guidance. Tighten your marketing to admissions handoff and track interactions in the CRM. Invest in organic social and student voices to build trust.
And if you're looking for a place to start, pick your highest priority program, audit its AI and SEO presence, and make 3 concrete improvements this quarter. Track the impact, share the results, and use that momentum to build buy-in for deeper changes.
The ground under higher ed marketing is still shifting, but the direction is clear. Trust, AI, and personalization aren't the future, they are the present. The institutions that adapt now will be the ones making the shortlist, earning the trust, and converting the enrollments.
And for anyone still hoping this is just another passing trend, well, let's just say, waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a strategy. The winners are already moving.
That's all for this episode of Higher Education Marketing Institute. For more insights, resources, and actionable guides, check out the full article and the weekly research recaps at highereducationmarketinginstitute.com. Thanks for listening, and good luck out there.
Let's dig deeper into what actually drives trust in this new environment, because it's not just about slapping a faculty bio or an accreditation badge on your site. RGI's Guide on EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, spells out that trust is proven through visible ownership, up-to-date information, and ongoing maintenance. But here's where it gets tricky. A lot of institutions are still treating trust signals as a checklist, not as a living system. If your staff bios are updated, your contact info is buried, or your policies are full of legalese, you're actually eroding trust, not building it.
Exactly. And it's not just a website problem, it's a governance problem. The HEMI article on scalable content governance points out that sprawling higher ed sites are especially vulnerable to content rot, broken links, outdated calendars, inconsistent policies. That's a signal to both students and search engines that your institution isn't keeping up. The solution isn't more manual review. In fact, the latest best practice is to use AI-enforced policies and automated checks to keep content current and accurate at scale. That frees up your human team to focus on the stories and the nuance that actually move the needle.
But let's not get too enamored with automation. There's a risk of swinging too far the other way. Automated pre-published checks and metadata requirements can help, but they can also create friction for distributed editors and faculty who aren't digital natives. If your workflows are too rigid, you end up with bottlenecks and shadow IT. The best models blend central standards with distributed ownership, so local experts can update content quickly, but the system still enforces structure and compliance. It's a balancing act.
There's also a real-world tension in how we talk about outcomes and transparency. The call for radical transparency on cost and outcomes is loud, and for good reason. But not every program has perfect job placement data or alumni willing to go on record. Some institutions worry that being too transparent about costs or less than stellar outcomes could hurt recruitment. But the evidence is clear. As Advance Education and Carnegie both show, students and families are already fact-checking everything. If you hide or bury the tough details, you lose credibility. If you own them and contextualize them, you build trust. It's uncomfortable, but it works.
And context is everything. A program with a 70% job placement rate in a tough field can still be a smart choice if you show what that means, who your graduates are, and what pathways exist. The goal isn't to spin the numbers but to make them legible and meaningful. The HEMI guidance is to blend facts, context, and proof. So you're not just dumping data, you're helping students make sense of it. It's the difference between a wall of numbers and a story that builds confidence.
Let's talk about mobile-first and conversational experiences. The modern campus research is clear. Students expect the site to know who they are and what they need next. If you're still serving a one-size-fits-all homepage, you're losing engagement and conversions. But personalization isn't just about tech. It's also about content governance and data discipline. If your CRM isn't clean, or you're not segmenting by stage in the journey, your personalization will be shallow. The schools seeing 30% plus click-through rates on personalized blocks are the ones doing the hard work of integrating behavioral data, context, and relevance.
And privacy is a growing concern. As third-party cookies disappear and FERPA expectations tighten, personalization has to be privacy by design. That means using first-party data ethically, being transparent about how you're using it, and giving students real control. It's not just a compliance issue, it's a trust issue. If students feel like your site is tracking them without their consent, or you're serving them ads for programs they never expressed interest in, you're breaking the trust you worked so hard to build.
On the AI side, there's still a lot of confusion about what actually moves the needle. UPSI's research shows that most enrollment teams know they need an AI search strategy, but 70% cite competing priorities, 37% lack in-house expertise, and 27% don't know where to start. The practical advice is to focus on your highest intent program page. Make sure the core facts, cost, duration, modality, outcomes, are structured and easy to extract. Use schema, clear headings, and plain language. Then test your visibility by running real queries in AI tools. If you're not showing up, you know where to focus.
But here's a challenge. Not every institution has the resources to overhaul every program page at once. That's where prioritization comes in. Start with your flagship programs or the ones that drive the most inquiries. Use analytics to identify which pages get the most traffic or have the highest conversion potential. Fix those first, measure the impact, and then build the case for scaling the approach. This is also where cross-functional teams matter. Marketing, admissions, and IT have to work together, or you end up with great content locked behind a clunky CMS, or a beautiful site with no data to feed AI.
And don't underestimate the operational side. The admissions handoff is where a lot of good marketing goes to die. HEM's work is blunt. A qualified inquiry comes in, but if there's no clear process, it disappears. The fix is to define owners, response timelines, and next steps in your CRM. Track every interaction, and close the loop between marketing and admissions. It's not glamorous, but it's what separates high-performing teams from the rest.
I'd add that this is also where leadership needs to step up. If you can't connect SEO or AI visibility to actual enrollment revenue, you're flying blind. The institutions that are winning are the ones treating pre-site influence, on-site behavior, and conversion steps as a connected pipeline. That means integrating Google Analytics and Search Console with your CRM, using multi-touch attribution, and tracking what actually moves inquiries to deposits. If you're still measuring success by traffic or form fills, you're missing the bigger picture.
Let's pivot to social and community building. Education Dynamics makes a strong case that organic social, maintained with consistency and care, compounds trust over time. AI can help with insights and scheduling, but it can't replace the credibility of real students sharing real experiences. The most effective schools are investing in authentic student voices, not just branded campaigns. They are also responding to student questions and feedback in real time, using that input to shape future content. That's how you build a living community, not just a broadcast channel.
But there's a tension here, too. Some institutions are nervous about giving students too much voice on official channels. There's a risk of going off message, or airing grievances in public. But the reality is, students are already talking about your brand, on Reddit, Discord, TikTok, and elsewhere. Trying to control the message too tightly just pushes the conversation underground. The schools that win are the ones that participate honestly, set clear guidelines, and trust their community to represent them well. It's not risk-free, but it's the price of credibility.
Let's not forget accessibility. The HEMI article on scalable governance stresses that accessibility isn't just a compliance box to check. It's a trust signal for both humans and AI. If your site fails on contrast ratios, mobile usability, or navigation, you're excluding users, and sending a signal to search engines and AI that your content isn't reliable. Meeting WCAG standards, testing across devices, and making sure information is easy to find are now baseline requirements, not nice to haves.
And that's especially true for Gen Alpha and their families. Termin Alpha's research points out that Gen Alpha doesn't browse, they query. They expect instant, relevant answers, not a maze of pages. They care about institutional integrity, not just image. If your site can't surface clear, AI-readable answers about outcomes, costs, and support services, you're out of the running. And as Australia's social media restrictions for under -16s show, the early search journey is moving even further into owned content and AI-driven discovery.
Let's bring this down to a practical roadmap. For enrollment and marketing leaders, here's a phased approach. 1. Audit your AI visibility and organic rankings for your top programs. 2. Fix the basics, structured data, clear headings, plain language, and up-to-date facts 3. Tighten the marketing to admissions handoff with clear ownership and CRM tracking 4. Segment your messaging and personalize key touch points. Homepage, email, SMS, based on user stage and behavior 5. Strengthen your organic social and student voice strategy, and invest in authentic community management 6. Bake accessibility and inclusivity into every design and content decision. Each step reinforces the others. You don't have to do it all at once, but you do need to start.
And measure as you go. The most effective teams are running small pilots, tracking engagement, conversion, and AI visibility, and then scaling what works. If you're not sure where to start, pick one program, one channel, or one workflow and make it better this quarter. Document the impact, share the wins internally, and use that momentum to push for broader change. As the HEMI research shows, the institutions that iterate fast and learn from real data are the ones pulling ahead.
One last word on brand. The old model of prestige and tradition is losing ground to clarity and relevance. As Libby Morse points out in her Yes and Peace, students don't choose foundational interdisciplinary excellence. They choose identity, outcomes, belonging, and possibility. The institutions that translate their value into stories students can see themselves in, without jargon or defensiveness, are the ones earning a second look. It's time to stop explaining yourself and start making the case, specifically and unapologetically.
So, to wrap it up, trust, AI, and personalization are the new baseline, not the bonus round. The friction is real, between tech and human, between compliance and creativity, between speed and rigor. But the path forward is clear: clarity, relevance, and credibility at every touch point. Audit, fix, measure, and iterate. And remember, you don't have to win the whole game at once. Just win the next moment of intent, the next inquiry, the next conversation. That's how institutions build momentum, and how they make the shortlist when students and families are choosing with their thumbs and their prompts. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Higher Education Marketing Institute. We'll see you next time.